Now heard on iTunes.
Everything you want to hear from the voice of Cerritos College. WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob JF, and we are here at Cerritos College, located at Norwalk, California. And at this time, I'd like my guests to please introduce themselves.
This is Deputy Maria Aikin from Century Sheriff Station with Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
I'm Deputy Marcus Cox with Century Sheriff Station, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Cool. Now, can you tell me about the prerequisites on what does it take to be to join the force?
To be able to test for deputy sheriff, you need to have either a high school diploma or a GED. To start the testing process, you have to be 20 and a half to take the test. And once it's a written comprehension, spelling, math, once you pass that portion of it, you go on to an oral interview. Once you pass that, you go on to a physical agility test where you have to run, jump a wall, be able to drag a body that weighs 150 pounds. You have a psychological written and a psychological oral. You have a polygraph test. You have a medical screening where they make sure that you don't have any problems. Health-wise, let's see, what else? I think I cover all the main ones. There's an intense background also that happens. Your credit has to be good, pay bills on time and things of that sort. And then they speak to, people that you've lived with before, neighbors, school. And once you're past that and everything's good, you do a 4.5-month academy where that entails search and seizure. Every day you have tests, search and seizure, traffic laws, anything has to do with law. We do agility every other day, so we do a lot of running, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, you name it. We also do shooting classes. We have to score a certain amount so you don't get disqualified. Let's see, what else, Marcus?
Well, let's see. Along with that, the academy is 18 weeks long. There's academic phase. There's a physical phase. You can get disqualified academically if you fail a test twice. You can get disqualified if you are not physically fit enough. So if you do want to become a deputy sheriff, I would say before you even begin to take the test, before you even start the process, your process should start with you working out and getting your mind ready, doing a lot of reading. A lot of you kids listening to this are probably in college, so you won't have too much of the problem with the academics. Correct? I hope we hear me out there in radio land. But once you pass that academic part, the physical demands, it's the time, it's the dedication. How much do you want to do the job? I mean, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to make a good living. You're not going to be a millionaire. But if you really believe in serving your community and making a difference and doing something positive, well, this is a career for you. So I would encourage you. I want someone that's just as dedicated as myself and my partner to be working with us that for the cause that we stand for. Whether sometimes everyone won't believe in you, and sometimes you have some communities that have the backing of everyone. But long as we're all together in it, to make the community better, those are the kind of people that we need.
Perfect. We'll be right back after these public service announcements.
People don't much listen to the radio on the radio anymore. They listen on their desktops, they listen on their laptops, they listen on their tablets, and mostly they listen on their cell phones. You can hear WPMD on great streaming sites like TuneIn and Streema and Radio Shaker, and now you can listen to the place where people make a difference on a new WPMD app. It's free and ready for you to download. Just go to appcatch.com. That's appcatch.com. Search for WPMD, then hit launch, and you're with us. It'll work on your iPhone, your Android, your BlackBerry, your iPad. You can take WPMD with you wherever you go, whenever you go. the WPMD app. One more reason why WPMD on the net is the place where people make a difference.
Did you know that you can save money by upgrading your light bulbs? Instead of 60-watt bulbs, look for energy-saving 800 lumen bulbs. Many newer bulbs give you the same amount of brightness or lumens, but use less energy. In fact, you could save $50 or more each year by simply switching 15 traditional light bulbs to energy-saving CFL or LED bulbs. Learn more at energysavers.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Energy.
Today, my new dad threw a barbecue.
Today, my new son and I threw a barbecue.
There were burgers and chicken.
I burnt everything. The burgers, the chicken, the salad.
They were delicious.
They were awful.
And then we had watermelon.
I'm allergic to watermelon.
And then we played catch.
I broke Mr. Lewis's window, Mrs. Wakeham's window, Mrs. Wakeham's windshield, and then somehow my hand. My hand!
And then my dad even let me drive his car.
The hospital's on the right! It was a rough day.
It was a great day.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob JF, here at WPMD Studios, located at Norwalk, California. And I'm back here with my guests. So, being that there's a physical part, with the exercising and everything, is there a specific amount that you have to weigh when you first apply, or there's no weight?
Well, there are height and weight requirements, but some people aren't built like those charts, so they also go off of a body mass index. So you can have a certain percentage. For myself, for example, when I first started, there's no way I was going to be 6 feet, 100 and maybe 70 or 60 something pounds or whatever it was, because I was a muscular guy. So they took my body mass, and everything worked out just fine. But the most important thing is that cardiovascularly, that running is the big thing in the academy. A lot of people fall out of the academy because of that. Just the physical grind, the time that you have to spend. I mean, you're tested, but it's a good thing to be tested. You know what you're made of, know that you're dedicated, and you want this job.
Is there any mathematics in the written one?
Yes, there's reading comprehension. There's mathematics in the test. Spelling. I mean, because in this job, you have to. One thing I tell young people all the time is, especially whether it's in high school and now we're talking to college kids right now, even elementary school do career days as much and such things. The ability to write and to comprehend what you read is paramount in this job, because you're going to be testifying in court, and the words that you write and the things that you've witnessed and how you interpret them or how you write them down and how it's received and read can be the difference of you winning a case or losing a case. So it's very important, and more important than just winning and losing a case, at someone's life that's at stake because of something that either they did or you observed them doing. And if you don't articulate that well, the victim that was affected, the person that's the aggressor, he won't get prosecuted. You've kind of let that victim down. You've let that family down. So you have to be very, very well written and be able to articulate in your paper. So to me, writing, not mathematics, when you go in to like work a traffic car, things like that, that's a lot of, we have traffic cars in our department, but most of our guys are crime cars and things of that nature, and responding to calls, like your everyday things from domestic violence to, stolen car report, So definitely reading comprehension is paramount. Reading and writing skills.
Perfect. And one of the things that I always ask my guests, especially when they're already in, in a particular field, tell us about, your story. What inspired you to enter the field? What did you do before? Like, walk us through since high school. Were you active in anything in particular? Did you know right away what you wanted to study and stuff after high school?
Let's see. Where I got inspired to become a deputy sheriff was actually during high school. And I grew up in the projects, Aliso Village Projects, which has now been torn off in downtown area. And at that time, there was a lot going on, a lot of shootings, a lot of gang activity, a lot of narcotics in that area. It was a really bad area at the time that I was living there and growing up. So I would see, LAPD and the sheriffs go through there and a lot of the stuff that was going on. And personally, my mother got actually robbed like 3 different times. And that was something that inspired me to be in law enforcement, just because I wanted to be able to make a difference in the community with that type of crime. So, and I didn't want to be anything other but a deputy sheriff. So, therefore, I started inquiring what it took. I did do, like accounting beforehand, but my sight was on being a deputy, and I took the steps to do that and tested and passed. And, I've been on department ever since and been working different units since then. How about you, Marcus?
Well, as for me, I knew at a very young age I wanted to be a deputy sheriff in particular, part because my upbringing and the fine men and women of the sheriff's department that surrounded me throughout my childhood. Everyone has various backgrounds. I could tell you my story, and it's probably similar to a lot of people out there listening. But the people that I was surrounded with from the sheriff's department gave me the ability to look past what people may perceive as negative, make a difference, do something positive, get a goal, make a goal, and go for the goal and accomplish the goal. And that's what I consider good about, for me, being a deputy sheriff personally. It's because I knew that I wanted to work in the community. I knew when a lot of times when people interview for the job, they say, well, why do you want to be a sheriff? They say, because I want to change the community. Well, you say that, but what is it exactly that you're going to do to change the community? Okay, we can go and we can arrest people. Is that really changing the community? No, it's saving that situation. Is it needed? Absolutely. But changing the community to me is what those deputies did for me in my life from a very young age all the way through the process of becoming a deputy and still receiving mentoring from those that have come before me to this very day. And to me, that's making a difference. That's making a change. So when I gave that generic answer of yes, I want to make a difference, that's what my frame of reference went to, seeing the men and women that had come before me to even make it possible for me to have this opportunity. Because who knows, I could have been out there doing whatever, but I had those role models and I had those guidelines and I had the desire, and I was pointed in a direction to do what I wanted to do. So that's what got me to become a deputy sheriff. I hope that was good enough.
What are the is there an advantage to people who went ahead and took the test versus like some people that they started off in the Explorers program?
There's always I wouldn't when you say advantage, I'm not talking about an advantage to the point that, okay, well, we know this person and we're going to slide this person through. You're going to get through on your merit and your worth, what you can do. Okay, but the advantage comes is that now you have someone that is not coming without, I'll just to use this term, coming in cold. They understand how the sheriff's department operates. They've been preparing to do something that they want to do, and they know how to go about it. They have more guidance. So, and don't get it confused either that the Explorer program, which we have one of the best in, for our station, Century Sheriff Station, one of the best in all of Los Angeles County, made up of a bunch of fine, great young men and women from the community. We're not there to mold them to be deputy sheriffs. We're there to mold them to be better people, better citizens. When they're a father or mother, a better mother or father, a better brother or sister. And if what we do as a sheriff's department lines up with what they want to do in life, absolutely, of course. Do you think they have help from other deputy sheriffs? I wouldn't be telling you the truth if I said that they didn't, because they absolutely do. They'll get that encouragement and that support that's needed. So it's definitely positive to get involved at a young age. If it's something that you know you want to do at a young age, get involved. If you're in college or you're in high school, you can become an explorer. You can become a volunteer. I'm the volunteer coordinator for our station. Right now, currently, we have two guys going through background checks. Now, was it easier? Because guess what? Now they have questions. Well, I can call Deputy Cox. I can call Deputy Aikin. I can call Sergeant Jones. I can call someone and get an answer. As to where someone that's just kind of coming in cold, they have to search a little bit harder for the answer. But little do they know, if they call us and ask us, we'll be more than happy to tell them. But it's just the fact that person that's been around and has been involved has that communication.
I remember also, I believe Lieutenant Deeds had mentioned that another unique volunteer opportunity was the surveillance cameras as well that we have in Linwood that people can help out as well.
I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm not the official on operations, especially day-to-day operations at the station and what capacity our volunteers are going to work in that capacity. So I can't speak on that. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
Also, tell me about the different departments. Like, how do I'm sure everybody's curious when they see police. They may not know there's a difference between like different departments. Like does an officer specialize in a certain field? Like, for example, like the ones with the dog, are they like training in a specific way to like work with the dog versus like the different stuff?
Yeah, every department you have specialized fields. You have guys that go to what we call our SEB, which is our Special Enforcement Bureau. For LAPD, it would be the SWAT. Well, those guys, they're Special Enforcement Bureau, so they're trained in special weapons and tactics for high-risk situations. You have canine officers that are trained to work with a canine dog. You have narcotics officers that are trained to work specifically narcotics. So every agency has something. We have our arson and explosives unit. They're specifically trained arson and explosives, and that's their primary job. But in general, I think one of the things that you're alluding to is there a difference between, let's say, the Sheriff's Department and the Los Angeles Police Department. The difference there is the Police Department, they're LA City. So you have the city, and their primary jurisdiction is the city of Los Angeles, whereas the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, we're the county area, and our jurisdiction is primary unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County, as well as contract cities. And another thing that we do different from the police, departments, is that we operate the jail system. We also operate the court system. Okay. So we have patrol duties, and then we have in-house duties, custody and our custody division. So we also transport inmates. We have a TSC. We have a large bus service that just goes all over Los Angeles, all over Southern California, really.
We have the trains as well.
Oh, yeah, and we run the trains. And that comes into, when I say we mention a contract city, so say a city doesn't have a budget large enough to run their own police department. For example, the city of Linwood, we're the police agency for the city of Linwood, but in it itself is its own city. But it's a policing agency, and we are very proud to serve the city of Linwood. We love the city of Linwood. So that's the difference. So we can get contracted. And that gives them all the tools and all the things that the Sheriff's Department has.
And you guys had the coffee with the captain. Tell us about that.
Okay. Coffee with the captain, we try, and we're doing them hopefully like every 6 months. And that is just to bring the community and law enforcement together. So like coffee with the captain, couple months ago, what we do is we go out there, we have coffee. The businesses get involved. In this case, it was Starbucks that donated the coffee. We had somebody else, Ms. Lucy, donate the food. And we're just there. Our captain, Ernest Chavez, is there to answer, and my partner here, Marcus, and myself, we're there to answer any questions or concerns that the community has. So if for whatever reason, sometimes there's something going on in the neighborhood and they don't feel comfortable calling the station, it's a little bit, we're approachable, so they can come to us and let us know what's going on in that particular neighborhood. And I'll make sure that we take notes down and we pass it on to whoever's going to be able to do something about it. Or if it's out of the sheriff's department's hands, then I'll be able to guide them and point a way so they can go to the right resource in order to get that, whatever it is, taken care of.
And you guys have a big event coming up. Tell us about the open house.
Well, the open house, like my partner was saying with the coffee with the captains, we're really, really invested in the community. We really want to get involved. We want the community to get involved. We want to have an open line of communication with all of our citizens and the people that we serve, no matter how old or how young. We want to let them know that we're there for them. We're here to serve you, and we're here to help you. One of the big things, which is one of the things I'm charged with, and when I talk about making a difference, is having that open communication and having the kids come to the police station and not be afraid. You can stop me, but I'm a realistic kind of person, and I tend to tell the truth. Because let's just be honest, there's things going on in our society and in different communities right now that are upsetting people. And there's not a lot of trust between law enforcement and the communities that we serve. But like I said, making a difference in our community, which I'm concerned about right now, our community, we want to make that difference. We want to be that bridge. We don't want things to happen to where instead of us being able to talk, we have to resort and do other things that is no good for anyone and won't solve anything. So with the idea of this open house, we have a thing where we're saying our house is your house. We want you to come inside. I know you go, especially in the community that we serve, a lot of people drive past the police station. They say, what are they doing back there? And it's a big secret. And then when people don't communicate, people get all these ideas and think, well, what are they doing back there? What's going on in there? And they don't think about good things. Am I right? They think about negative things. Well, we want everyone to come inside. We want the kids to come inside. We want the kids to come and sit at the patrol cars. We want to talk to them. We want to have them paint their face and let them know that this is a safe place. This is where you come for help. Unfortunately, there's a part of our job where we deal with some pretty nasty and bad people, and we have to do that. But guess what? 99% of the people that I deal with on a daily basis are fantastic, wonderful, great people. And those are the people that we want to come out to this event with their families. We want them to come out with their neighbors. We want to start neighborhood watches. We want to start community groups. We want to start community gardens. We just had a community garden that opened up this week that we were very fortunate to be a part of. And it was a great thing for the community. It promoted health. It promoted good eating. And that's everything that we're here. We're here for everything positive. So this open house, not only are we asking you to come in, we're asking people from the community to be a part of the sheriff's department. We'll have these flyers posted around campus here. Hopefully you guys get them out or you get them on your email. We'll be testing for the position of deputy sheriff at 12 o'clock. Show up, I would say at around 11:30, because there's going to be quite a few people there. Bring your identification, a valid ID card and a social security card. Come take the test. If it's in your heart to become a deputy sheriff, come take the test. There's no room for excuses. It's time to be there. If you just want to come and see what we have to offer, I don't care if you live in our community or not. You need to come be a part of this event. Come and have a good evening. We're going to be there from 11 till 4. Come have a good time. Come let the kids come see the racing cars. Come let them see the horses. We even have Bert the camel's going to be there for the kids. It's just an all-out awesome community event. And if 10,000 people showed up, I would want 10,000 smiles to leave. Okay, if we get 4,000, same thing. 4,000 would be fantastic. It would just be fantastic.
One of the other things that we're going to have free medical screening We're going to have a doctor on site for referrals. We're going to have dentists. We're going to have, like my partner said, face painting, jumpers, ice cream, cotton candy, hot dogs, drinks. Everything's going to be free. Nothing there is going to be, charged. So there's going to be free parking. So please come out, bring your families. It's going to be great. Our helicopter's going to be there. The kids can go in, then take pictures in the helicopter and see how it all works. Our K-9 unit's going to be there. Our bomb squad's going to be there. Our SWAT team's going to be there with all the equipment, with all the guns, with the grenades, everything that, you've ever wanted to inquire or see in person. So mounted patrol. Like I said, we're going to have all our resources there, so any questions that you want, we can answer. Also, CHP and LA County Fire is going to be there. We're going to have a few businesses that will be passing out applications, like Walmart. It's hiring. They're going to have applications, and so is
Forever 21.
So,
Forever 21.
come out. There's a little bit for everybody that day.
And if that's not enough, we've partnered with some of our other first responders. She mentioned LA County. We're going to have the shaky quakey out there for the kids to teach earthquake safety. We're going to have every community resource needed that's specific to our area for you to get assistance. We'll have Department of Social Services out there passing out if a family is in need, they'll be able to assist them with that need. I mean, just you
Food
think
bank.
of food. The food bank will be there. You think of if it's a necessity in a community, we're gonna have it. So just come on out, enjoy yourself, have a ball. If you come and just ask around for myself or Deputy Aikin, just make sure you come and see me so I can shake your hand and say hi.
And one more thing, a huge resource that will also be there is we've been partnering up now with different homeless association that help the homeless. So I know the face of homelessness looks very different. It's not just the person that's, with the shopping cart underneath the underpass, but there's people living out of their cars or maybe living in a makeshift garage. Well, that is also homelessness. And we're partnered up with the agency that can, if you meet the qualifications, can help you out with the first and last payment to get you into an apartment and the deposit to get your utilities turned on. So those are other resources that are greatly needed. And if someone that needs that, please bring them by and they can speak to them and see what they can do with their situation.
See, this is the great thing about this. This lets the community in to let them know we're not just here to take people to jail. We're not just here to ruin people's lives and make them miserable. Law enforcement, we're here to help. We're here to make a difference, and that's really what we want to do. We're rolling out the red carpet for our community, and we want you guys just to come and walk right in.
Perfect. And I know that you had mentioned, neighborhood watches. I just barely recently became a block watch captain. Can you tell, our audience, the importance of having a block watch?
Well, the importance of having a block watch is just as important as having a police department. And I'll tell you why. We're only as good as the communication that we have with our citizens. We're only as good as much as the public will trust us. When you have extra eyes and ears and a good line of communication in your neighborhood, and you have that ability to call someone and say, sir or ma'am, this is kind of what's going on, not just giving out useless information, but things that we can look out for, and we equip the neighborhood with tools and ideas to help them fix their own problems, because there's only so many deputy sheriffs and we can't be everywhere at once. And when you have that, your neighborhood becomes, the quality of life just increases. Nowadays, I notice I form a lot of block watches. And the first thing that we do is we have a meet and greet. The way our towns and our cities have become is that we don't even know our neighbors. Some people live someplace for 10 years and not even know their neighbor. They might know the neighbor right next to them, but they don't know the person across the street. They don't know the person on the end of the block. Well, if you get outside of your house and you meet these people and you talk and you have a little meeting and you have a bond, you're more likely to look out for that person's well-being when they're not there. And when a neighborhood works together, believe it or not, and they're organized, criminals know that. People that want to do bad things in your neighborhood know that. And if they live there, because let's face it, some bad people there are bad people that do bad things that live in neighborhoods. They have to live somewhere too. Chances are they'll move out. They'll leave the area because now that block is organized. That block is no longer afraid. That block is no longer a victim. That block now has a working relationship with their police department. That block now understands that, hey, the deputies are here to help us. And that's something that people don't want to know, that the criminals don't want you to know.
Excellent. We'll be right back after these public service announcements.
Nobody knows more about the fascinating beginnings of rock and roll than Steve Probst does. The small labels, storefront studios, unknown artists, writers, and producers that wound up starting the most dynamic, innovative, energetic music the world has ever heard. Steve tells that story every night at 10 Pacific on WPMD with the best of the Steve Probst 45 show. Classic sides, both well-remembered and virtually unknown, and in-studio conversations with virtually everyone who made them. Plus, Steve's own encyclopedic knowledge about the subject make it a must-listen for anyone who wants to know where the music they listen to now came from. It's the best of the Steve Probst 45 show every night at 10 Pacific on WPMD on the net, where people make a difference.
WPMD can help you save money. Next time you want to go shop online, go to our website first, WPMDonthenet.com. Click on the Amazon.com button, and it'll take you right to Amazon.com. And you can take advantage of all the great deals that you can find there. WPMD and Cerritos College Foundation will receive the percentage of what you spend. A percentage. And it won't cost you anything extra. It's a great way to support the place where people make a difference and to find the best deals on the net. Thanks for being a smart shopper and for helping out the voice of Cerritos College at WPMD.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save
your friend, your best friend, teacher, boss, coach.
F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T, face, arm, speech, time. That's F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, a fellow shopper, a total stranger, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague, teammate, mother.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Falcon Spotlight. I'm your host, Rob JF, here at Cerritos College, Norwalk, California. And I'm back here with my guests. And yeah, it's a pretty cool idea having, the open house. As far as questions, I've always been curious, the military has, the ranks and stuff. How does the ranks work in the police?
Well, it's the ranking is similar. I mean, we have our deputies, which are, I guess you would say, I don't want to say foot soldiers, but that's the lowest ranking in our rank structure. It goes deputy, sergeant, lieutenant, to captain, to commander, and so forth and so on, until you get all the way up to sheriff. Now, that's what people don't understand. There is only one sheriff, and it's newly elected Sheriff McDonald, right? So there's only one sheriff, and everyone under him, we're deputized. We're given our powers through him. So that's another big difference between the sheriff's department and the police department. LAPD, I believe their guy is picked by the city council or something like that. The sheriff is elected by the people. So he's an elected official.
And how does one move up?
Well, in the sheriff's department, the first two, moving from sergeant to from deputy to sergeant and sergeant to lieutenant, those are based on your testing. There's a test that's taken, and then there's an oral interview and practical application things that need to be that you need to pass and get a certain score on to show that you're competent to supervise other people. Then after the level of lieutenant, it's more performance based, and you are promoted from the ranking staff. Put it like that. We promoted from the sheriff and under sheriff. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And, normally when I have my guests, I ask them, what was their goal for the semester and what was their goal for, afterwards. But to tailor it more differently, what was your goal for the year, and where do you see yourself after, your career in law enforcement?
Oh, you mean for this year in particular? I think this year in particular is going fantastic. We've made a lot of strides in the areas that we serve as far as community relations. That's what we do, is community relations. I get a lot of great feedback from the deputies that are out there working in the field every day, saying, hey, do you know such and such? Do you know such and such? They were really nice to us, and they were so thankful that we came out and helped. And they say things and they feel appreciated, which I've known for years it's been like that. But since that line of communication hasn't been the way it should be, the deputies a lot of times don't hear that. So I say that to say this: when you're coming through our area, you're going by, you see a deputy sheriff, wave at them. You should wave back, smile. Okay. And as far as for the by the end of the year, I want this to continue. The one thing about this open house, which is one of the major events for us for the year, is that we don't want to have those feel-good days or those feel-good stories. We want things to have roots. We want things to continue and grow and move on from there, because this is one day. What's going to be after the open house? Well, when you're at the open house, we want people to sign up to become block watch captains. We want people to sign up to become volunteers. We want kids to sign up to become explorers. We want people to sign up to become deputy sheriffs. We want this event to be a root and for things to come, for this tree to grow in our community. And we want our law enforcement tree to touch every part of our community. Okay? Because overall, we want, I tell people all the time, I want to be like Opie Taylor. You guys might not know who that is, from Mayberry. Just to be the sheriff, just to walk down and go down to Mrs. Smith's house and have a cup of coffee. Sit down and talk and go see what's going on. That would be great. So years from now, is that possible? It's not going to happen in one day, but yeah, I believe it's possible. It's going to happen. As far as after my career, I don't think my career is ever going to end. We never think we're going to, we never think it's going to be over. But after I'm done being a deputy sheriff, I will continue to serve and work in the community. I don't know in what way, more than likely with young people, young people in youth programs and things like that. But I will continue to always want to make a difference and be positive in my community. So what about you, Maria?
Let's see. Just to piggyback about what you said in regards to what we've accomplished this year, I believe we've accomplished a lot. This is our very first open house, and I don't see it being the last. Definitely to develop that partnership in the community, and like my partner said, just have it. It's a large area, but we definitely can strive to have that small town feel to where everybody that lives there feels comfortable with us and sees us and doesn't feel like we're someone to be scared of, but definitely someone to be in communication with and feel comfortable around law enforcement. And as far as my career, I too and will stay involved in the community in one capacity or another. At this point, I can't tell you. I'm still enjoying being a deputy, and I haven't really looked at the retirement aspect of it, but I will be involved with the community.
Cool. And the cool thing about, the open house, as you mentioned before, there's going to be lots of things for kids to be entertained. Some people, they might not be aware, of the camel. And I also heard there's going to be a clown. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh yeah, there's going to be the camel. The camel will be there. The Laker girls will be there, and then we have a special clown that's going to be there. He goes by the name of Tommy the Clown. He has a real positive message. He hires kids to work with him, but there's rules to working with Tommy the Clown, and the rules are based around integrity and respect and doing well in school and positive things like that. So he's on board. We're just gonna have just a good old time. We're gonna have a good old time. 94.7 The Wave will be there to have some nice smooth music going while we're sitting there eating our hot dogs, and people are walking around getting all the services, and I just see a grand time in the future. Saturday May the 30th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Century Sheriff Station is going to be an historic event for the Linwood, Athens, Willowbrook, and Florence Firestone areas, and I just can't wait. I'm excited.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I even heard that Tommy the Clown is so big that he's been like on like television too.
Oh yeah, well he's been on television. He was in a movie, believe it was called Rise. That was a few years ago, where he started, the dancing, really to get kids from joining gangs, and they start dancing, and they had the little dance crews, and eventually I think it got so big that it ended up moving to the Forum, where instead of kids fighting, they're dancing like back in the 80s. You guys are listening here are real young, but back in the 80s, they used to break dance. They wouldn't fight, they would break dance. So now you got the kids that are having these battles like, what's the movies that the kids watch today with the battle dancing? I think what movies I'm talking about. What's the name of that movie?
Stomp the Yard?
Yeah, like Stomp the Yard, where they're going at and they're doing all the fancy moves and spinning on their head, all the stuff I can't do anymore. And they're taking it out in competition, because everyone can't play sports, everyone can't dance, everyone can't play a instrument. But for that population of kids, those kids that are interested in that, now they have another venue to express themselves, and I just think it's positive, and I'm all for it. I'm glad that our captain is willing to think outside the box. He's willing to let his deputies do things to actually make a difference, instead of trying to stifle us and worried about what the outside people might think. Because we've done some pretty bold things in the sense that you don't see traditionally in law enforcement. And I thank Captain Ernie Chavez for giving us the opportunity to do that. We've had great captains at Century Station, but when it comes to community, he's allowed us to do just the most awesome things. We've done a football camp for kids. We're getting ready to start a lacrosse program. We're getting ready to start tennis clinics. There's all sorts of things that we're involved in, and people don't know about it. That's what kind of gets me so bad, when you hear all these negative things. And thank you once again for giving us this opportunity, because this is a chance for us to say the things that are positive, that are going on in the community with the sheriff's department, with law enforcement in general, because this isn't just happening just at Century Station. I'm just talking about Century Station because that's where I'm proud of, and that's where I serve, and that's the community I serve. But it's happening everywhere. But we're getting the opportunity, and we're seeing things now where it's really making a difference, and we have the opportunity for that change. But we especially need the young people to get involved, because you guys in 10, 15 years, you guys are going to be the ones that are in a position like I'm at, and you're going to be looking saying, wow, is this our future? Where are our young kids? What are they going to do for us? We need people to step up and be leaders in communities. We need young people to step up and be leaders in neighborhoods, in your workplace. It's just necessary. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because I told you I'll start talking, and I'll get too, not political, but I just tell the truth. But and this camera, you say it's streaming live. I want to wave to everyone. Hi, everybody.
Also, as far as the physical tests and everything like that, what tips would you have for people that want to go ahead and be a deputy, what kind of things should they start doing, in advance? Do you think that it's necessary to take some criminal justice classes or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, that's always good. I always tell you this: education is the most important thing. I'm not going to say that a criminal justice class is going to teach you how to be a cop. I'm not going to say that. It will teach you things that are necessary, but it's not going to teach you how to be a cop. I graduated with my degree in criminal justice and with a minor in anthropology and sociology way back when. And was educated. I felt good. Went and took the test. Had no problem with the test. Had no problem with that. But when you're sitting down and when you go to a call and you have a lady bleeding, a man screaming, a kid crying, and a family in just disarray, and then all of a sudden somebody runs out of a back room and busts out the back window and runs out, and they say, well, there he goes with the gun, or whatever crazy situation you find yourself in. Not too much that they didn't go over that in the criminal justice class. I'll just say that. But the one thing that college does do, it prepares you for life. It prepares you to be able to deal with people. It prepares you to deal with adversity. When you know you should have been studying at the beginning of the semester and you try to get that little crunch course, that little extra little studying in before you take that final, because you have to do an all-nighter because you didn't prepare, right? All those little tricks, you learn not to do that again. So college does prepare you for any career you want to be in, not just law enforcement.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. That there'd be police officers with degrees, and other emphasis.
Oh, well, in my academy class alone, there was a guy in there with his doctorate degree. He had a PhD. He had a doctorate degree. You start at a higher level, but that's one thing with the diversity of the. When I say higher level, I'm talking on the pay scale. We're all deputy sheriffs. But the one thing that it does do, there's different focuses and concentrations. I have a partner that he was in the military for explosives. So what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go to arson explosives, right? That makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. I have people that graduated. Now we're getting kids that are graduating with their masters and their bachelors in like computer science and in the computer fields. Well, where do you think they're gravitating to? Cybercrime, right?
What about someone that's interested in like PR?
We have a PR director. We have a whole PR department. You know what I mean? You have the sheriff. His job never stops, and he has someone out there in front for him all the time, looking out and making sure that the right decision, not the decision, but the right things are done out there in that PR world. When things happen, we have people that have to produce. We have people that have to do all sorts of different things. I can't tell you all the intricacies of it because I have absolutely zero interest in doing that stuff. But you have to communicate with the media, with the news, and the sheriff's department has something for everybody.
Well, I want to thank you very much. Again, remind our audience when the open house is.
Well, people, the open house will be Saturday, May the 30th, 2015, at 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. And the address is 11703 South Alameda Street, and that's in Linwood. There's free parking. It'll be on Industry Way. There are a couple of empty parking lots over there that you guys are welcome to park in. Bring out your family, bring the kids, bring your mom, dad, grandma, neighbors, uncles, and let's just come out and have a good time together.
Also, for more information, how can they contact the station?
For more information, you can contact the station.
They can call our business line, which is 323-568-4800, and have them be directed to the community relations unit.
Perfect. Thank you very much for taking the time to be here on the Falcon Spotlight.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my final show of the semester. I will miss it, but I'll be back in the fall, and I look forward to it. As we are a club activity, we're only operating in the fall and the spring, and I will definitely look forward to, hopefully promote the station, the sheriff station again soon. Hope maybe you'll have like another event coming up.
Sure. Hey, can I add? We were back here commenting, and we were saying what a great job you did.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're representing the city of Linwood very well.
Oh, thank you. I started off super shy when I started my show.
Well, you're not shy. You sound like a professional reading those commercials. I said, hey, this kid's pretty good.
I'm trying.
Right
I'm
on,
trying.
man.
Practice.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Keep doing what you're doing.